Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking About the Big Stuff podcast with Michael Cole and Matthew Cravat. I am Michael Cole.
And I am Matthew Cravat.
It's fine. This is actually just a vape.
All right. So, as our audience should be able to see that's watching, we don't have my co-host Matthew on tonight, but we do have we have 4 guests tonight. And we've Saba is returning to the show. She was on our episode about conspiracy theories and the Mandela effect. We also have Alissa, Quentin, and Nicole. You guys can all say hi or whatever you'd like.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
All right, and tonight's topic that we're going to talk about is happiness and whether or not it's actually a thing that adults can achieve in any meaningful, like, long-term way. And so when I say that, I mean, like, obviously we all have moments of happiness, but we don't, I just don't, as a bipolar person, I don't really think that, like, meaningful, long-term, like, happy-go-luckiness is achievable. But I am interested in hearing what all of you have to say. So anybody want to start?
I would start, but I got manners. I like to go I like the women to go first. Yeah. But if they want me to go first, I can. But I like to be mannered and let the women first. Yeah.
Well, Nicole and Alissa might be not being able to stay the whole episode, so why don't one of you start?
Okay.
That way, if you have to go, we've gotten your opinion a little bit.
Okay, my opinion is that like the type of happiness that when I think of like that children experience, I think is very unique to the experience of a child. But I do think that depends on like their background and the way that they're raised, in the sense of like if they had like a happy childhood or like a sad childhood. But I think that, like, if you're assuming that it's like a positive experience for them, like that kind of happiness is like very like special and not necessarily like the same ones that like an adult experiences. That being said, like I would think of myself as a happy person, and like I do experience happiness and am like generally happy and like content in my life. But like when I think of like childhood happiness, like I had a really good childhood. So like when I think of like happiness for when I was younger, I think about like Christmas morning or like things like that are like so unique to like the child experience. Because as an adult, like obviously you know that, like, sorry, spoiler, Santa's not real. So I think that there's kind of that loss, you know what I mean, and loss of innocence. Yeah, I don't. Sorry, Saba. But I think there's a loss of innocence that you experience as you get older. So that like unique, like kind of clean happiness is no longer really found. But I don't think that that means that like adulthood isn't worth it, or that you can't find like meaning in things. And I think that especially like I'm not a parent, but like I can imagine the happiness that would come from like having a child or like getting married. Like I think like crossing certain like whatever events in your life like would make you really happy, and you would experience, I don't know, maybe that. But like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, so like I don't know. But like I think that probably would be the closest you could get as an adult. So
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Before I go on to Alyssa, I just want to say that you said the thing about contentment and a couple other things, and that's where I see the difference being is like we can, as adults, achieve other things like contentment or meaning or purpose, but I that's what I kind of think takes the place of happiness. But I just wanted to weigh in on that. Alyssa,
I was gonna say, like, I think, like what Nicole was saying, like I want to say that I feel like I'm a happy person, but like actively being happy, I feel like my baseline is like what, and also I think we were talking about this earlier, content. Like my baseline is content. Like I'm content in life, but I'm not like happy all the time. And I was saying that I'm probably like truly like unbridled joy happy like maybe 7 minutes out of the day every day. It's just not like, that sounds like bad, but like I don't know. But like I feel like when I think about happiness, like when I'm like the things that I'm happy about like as an adult, like I've gone to Disney as an adult and I was happy then. But like and or like just like seeing my family or graduating from college. Like I was happy, but like just happy all the time. Actually, am I a happy person? I don't know. I feel I don't know.
Alissa, I think it
I would have
depends.
guessed that you were a happy person
Yeah.
based on, if you hadn't told us all that today, I would have guessed that you were, and Quentin I know the least, obviously, just because we've known each other, a couple weeks, but I would guess that, Alissa, that you, out of the four of us who've known each other a while, will be the happiest of the, well, sometimes Saba. Saba's like real up and down and more hyper, like she's like a puppy, so
I feel like
it's just a
maybe
different kind of happiness. But I would have guessed, just based on the
I
demeanor you
mean,
give off, that you were happy.
I don't know. Now I'm like, I don't know, just like when I hear people like what people like how I feel like it also depends on like how you define it, maybe. But like true like when I feel like true happiness like throughout the day, like maybe my baseline of like when I say content, maybe that's happy to other people, but like true like happiness, content, like oh my gosh, I feel great, I feel really good, I feel about like maybe 7 minutes a day, but just like I feel like I don't know, just like my and maybe my content is what other people's happiness is. So
I would also argue, like, when you're a kid, you have so little experiences that you've experienced, which sounds really stupid, but like of course you're going to be happy going outside or going to the pool or getting an ice cream cone because like that seems like a very cool, unique experience that you don't really get all the time versus like I feel like as an adult you have access to a lot of things. Most likely not all adults, obviously, but like for example, like if you're an adult that has a 9 to 5 and makes X amount of money, like and you're like, oh, I love Legos, I'm super into Legos, and you buy that and then you do them and then you're like, oh, that made me happy for like 7 minutes or whatever, 30 minutes. So it's like again like the access thing. So it's like if you have access to everything. It's kind I don't think it was Kurt Cobain who said that. I'm not sure. But like he was talking about how when he was like famous, and this might be wrong. I might totally not be like saying the right quote, but like I think he was saying like once you have access to everything because you're rich, like the meaning kind of loses its feel and you just don't really feel that happiness anymore by like working really hard to get something or like saving up for something because it's like like everything's disposable at my fingertips, so I just don't really feel like that rush anymore.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I feel like right now I don't make a ton of money enough to be like I'm going to go to Hawaii or I'm going to go to like these different places. So like if I were to go to Hawaii, I feel like I'd be so happy because I'd be like I saved up and like it took me a really long time to get here and I'm really excited about it versus I feel like if I won the lottery, it would just not it would lose its like
yeah.
charm. Not that I'm
Yeah.
complaining and would love to like win the lottery, but
Okay. I felt
I
like
don't
I was
know.
decided before I come on here that like can you achieve happiness like as an adult? I was like, oh no, not really, like being pessimistic. But I feel like now I'm thinking like I mean maybe it depends on what you like trying to find happiness in like the little things. Like when I first wake up in the morning, I'm like sometimes I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be like I love where I'm at in my life. I love my apartment. I love XYZ about my life. Like I'm happy in this moment. And then like maybe for me that's like about a 10 to 30 second realization. And then it just like goes like it like I don't know what is it plateaus a bit, and then I was gonna say something else, but then I forgot. Um, but oh yeah, but just like coming back to like reality and just like knowing like all the things that are going on in the world. I'm like, how can I like be happy with like all the things that are like that make me that make me sad? Um,
But a
I'm
kid,
saying
I
as
mean, a kid
I'm saying
doesn't
as
know
an
that,
adult
or
right
not
now. I'm
every
saying
kid,
this is me
obviously.
right now.
No, but I'm saying like it's worse. It's like you don't get that
Yeah.
innocent happiness anymore because you're like, how can I be happy about an ice cream cone when like all this is happening on the news? Or like, I mean, this sounds like so super like trivial, but it's like I think
Yeah.
you become aware of things and you like kind of realize that life isn't fair versus as a kid, I think you see things
Yeah.
through rose-colored glasses and you think that like that you're safe and that like things are fair, and then you grow up and you realize that it's not like that, and it's like it's scary. So it's hard to be
But some
happy when
adults
you're
see the
afraid.
world through rose-colored
But you
glasses
also
as
can't live in a
well.
bubble.
So, and maybe they're happy. I said some adults see the world
What?
through rose-colored glasses as well, and like maybe that's why maybe
No, for
both do
sure.
fit.
For sure. But I'm saying like you at least like realize there are bad parts about being an adult that aren't the most
Yeah.
fun. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of I think take away a little bit of that happiness, but I think it also just depends on like the lens you see the world through and a lot of other factors that would determine whether or not you had a
I mean,
happy life.
you could also think of it as it could always be worse. That'll make it happy.
Yeah, but it could always be worse is a good way of fighting sadness, but I don't know that's a good way of bringing joy. So like, yeah, like that you could always everything, typically you don't have it worse on any one front in your life than everybody else on earth. There's something that someone has worse than you, but that's a good mindset to get through something or to remind yourself to keep going. But that's not the same to me as happiness. And I would argue, I'd be surprised if anybody did think that was the same as happiness.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. So this is my definition of happiness. Well, not definition. Happiness is an emotion. It's an experience. So when I hear people saying that they're chasing happiness, or I'm trying to do this I'm just being openly happy. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but you know that it's an emotion, like being angry, joy, mad. Those are emotions. So when it happens, you get this euphoria, like you're feeling great. Oh, I just passed this crazy test. I've been studying for 2 weeks. I got a B plus. You're happy. You're happy for about 5 minutes. You think that's the best thing in the world. Yippee! I guarantee you, the next day you're not going to be that happy as you was when you found out you got that B plus, because it's an emotion, it's an experience. Mm-hmm. So I like that question that Alissa asked me earlier. She said, "Oh, Quentin, are you happy?" Yeah, I'm happy. I was happy. Yeah, but then let's say like 2 minutes later, I walk down the hall, I trip and I break my foot. There's a 99.9% chance I'm not going to be happy anymore. My foot just broke. Now I got to go to the doctor. I got to go see this. I got to go get painkillers. I got to go see a therapist. I got to go do all this mess to get my foot healed. That happiness is gone. So when when you're chasing happiness, you're chasing an emotion that all human beings, we all have it. We all get happy. We all get sad. We all get joy. We all get angry. It's feelings. So it's not something that we should be trying to obtain. In my opinion, when it comes to happiness, and my father told me this a long time ago, you chase a peace of mind. Because at the end of the day, I think that's what's only I think that's the only thing that's gonna make you happy is when you get that peace of mind. When things are gonna bother you, life happens. But if you can like try to get a peace of mind, like to where you're not letting petty stuff like bother you, or you're not, you at your, I don't know, with your spouse, your husband, and your wife. You're not letting this little small stuff get on your nerves. You have a peace of mind, because let's face it, Mike, you're married. I don't know how much long I don't know how long you've been married, but you don't have to lie. To be honest with you, have you been happy every single day with your wife? I know it's certain things that she's probably pissed you off. I know it's probably certain things that you probably pissed her off. Yeah, but but it's an emotion, just like how you love her and she loves you. It's an emotion. So there's gonna be days where, oh man, I really love my wife, and then some days like, damn, I can't stand her. She just did this. She didn't watch.
Make sure she doesn't listen to this.
No shots to Mike's wife. I'm just making an example. I see what you're like. No shots. But I'm just making it. Yeah.
She won't be. She'll completely understand, and she'll probably be listing all the shit that I did that pissed her off when she hears you say that. But yeah.
I mean, I think that definitely makes sense, but I think it's important to feel every emotion, but not stay in it. I mean, I think it's healthy to feel anger and feel sadness and feel whatever. I mean, we're human, but I think just trying not to dwell in whatever you feel, and not feeling guilty. I think a lot of it, like sometimes I feel guilty if I don't feel happy, where I'm like, if I should feel this way or I should feel that way, and I've gotten a lot better at just like honoring my emotions and letting myself just walk through the natural like path of how I feel without necessarily passing judgment or staying in it.
I to what you just said, Nicole. I think when I'm happy is when I'm the least aware of, like, not aware of my emotions, but the least like cognizant, thinking about, like, if I'm sad, I'm like, oh, I'm sad, this sucks, like, or oh, I'm irritated. Like, most emotions have more of a like immediate recognition, of that. And I think happiness, you don't go, oh, I'm so happy typically, like, or maybe I'm just the one that doesn't do that, but I don't think about it when I'm happy. I think about when I'm not happy, and maybe that's why I don't. Maybe that's why I came to this conclusion that it's like it's a difficult thing for adults to achieve, because I'm not thinking about it when I'm in it.
I do. I actively do. Like I'm really happy right now.
Thanks.
Alissa feels that every single time she passes my desk.
And you know what? And look, I feel that too. When like she passed my desk, she put a smile on her face. Oh, hi, Quentin. I'm like, wow, okay, you feeling good right now, and that's good. I'm not like trying to discourage to say that you can never be happy. I'm just saying that to people that like that trying to make it like their ultimate mission. Like, I have to be happy, and it's like we're humans. We're human beings at the end of the day, so we're going to experience all types of emotions. Like Nicole said, you might feel guilty because you're not feeling happy. Once again, that's a feeling. So it happens. It's natural. We're natural human beings. So it's okay. Like you said, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. Things happen. You might have a loved one that passed away. There's some sick people out here, but some people might be happy. I don't want to go that route, but some people are really gonna feel sad because their loved one died. I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. So
Yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying. So
I just was thinking about that. There's a book right now. Woman wrote a book. I'm happy my mom died, or thank God my mom died, or something.
Oh yeah, that was Janet McCurdy. Is that her name? She's from iCarly. She's Sam. Sam.
I'm a little too old.
I was gonna read it, but I was like, I can't.
That show. But yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying, Quentin. I think that, like, we have to, if we focus on other stuff, happiness will be the byproduct sometimes of that, and that maybe, whereas when you're a kid, happiness is the goal. Maybe happiness can't be the goal for us.
Right.
I also think depending. Oh,
So since I just forget so easily, I literally will just, like, I could be sad 1 second, and then the next second I'll forget why I'm sad, so I'll just be happy. Like, let's say, going back to I broke. If I don't have physical pain in my foot, like, oh, I completely forgot that my foot is broken. Like, I'm fine.
Saba, I wholeheartedly believe that you'd forget your foot is broken. Like, anyone else, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that sounds crazy. But I would wholeheartedly believe that you would forget your foot's broken and then walk on it and then feel the pain and then be upset and then, like, forget and then feel happy again later.
But you know what, though, Saba? I'm glad you brought it up, because that's another point I was going to make. Everybody's happiness is not the same. I could be happy for something. Let's say, I don't know. I don't know what everybody's into, but let's just say I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love it. Every time I watch it, it makes me happy. You probably hate it with your guts. You probably hate it. Your happiness is different from my happiness. So that's another thing too, that you can't attain it, because everybody's happiness is different. That's why it's an emotion. So yeah.
I also, depending on like your situation, I think sometimes as an adult, on like a more positive note, sometimes you with like an adult job have access to like buying certain things for yourself, or like having certain experiences that you always wanted as a child and couldn't have. You know what I mean? Like for me, like I just bought a cat and I've always wanted a cat my whole life, and like being able to do that and like provide and just like have that like experience is really nice, and I'm really happy and like excited to do that. And like it's weird now being in my like early 20s and being like, if I wanted to go somewhere, I probably could go. You know what I mean? Like if we're like one of my dreams is like to go to Hawaii, and like that's no longer something like a crazy thing. Like if I was like 7 and I wanted to go to Hawaii, like you know what I mean? It would be harder because I don't have like the means to go. Versus like I feel like you can find happiness in like certain things that you can attain that are attainable experiences or products, but it's fleeting. I mean, it is fleeting. It's not like I get a new dress and I'm like, I'm happy for like that evening and then it's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's still nice. I'm not going to lie. Like I enjoy being able to do that.
When you said the thing about ice cream earlier, that's what I thought was I can buy ice cream every single day if I want one.
Yeah, like as an adult, nobody's stopping you, and it's like so nice to like have that realization.
I genuinely like being an adult better than being a kid. Like whenever someone tells kids like, "Oh, this is the best time of your life. You're gonna miss it." I'm like, I don't miss it at all. And part of that's because I wasn't a particularly happy kid, or at least not what I remember of it. But now I do. I have that freedom. Like I can go get an ice cream if I want, or so it.
Yeah, when you realize you have free will, it's just nice. You're like, oh my god, wait, nobody could stop me. I could just get another tattoo, and no one could do anything about it.
And dinner.
Just, yeah, get a crepe for breakfast.
Yeah.
That's what I do when I'm sad. Like I'm like, oh, like let me go shopping. Like y'all saw, I was like going. I got 4 pairs of shoes in the last like 2 weeks.
I want you to finish your tattoos though. Quentin, do you know about her tattoos?
I overheard her talking about her tattoos, but I don't. That's all I know. She has them. That's it.
She's got like a star.
I have 6.
What is it? A star and
I have a. Well, I'll show you. I have like a little like star, and then I have
heart.
I don't know if you can see it. I have a heart somewhere. There you go.
So I've been telling her she needs to get clover, a blue moon, a horseshoe, so she can have all the Lucky Charms tattoos. Because right now she just got the hearts.
And wait,
hearts and stars and horseshoes.
So she can like get the whole sleeve of her arm.
Yeah.
I don't think I've shown you this. This is a candle that I have, and I got it for my birthday, and I love it. I've never lit it. It's literally Lucky Charms.
You need to,
but it's a candle.
Tattoo on. You need to get all the tattoos. Heart, stars, and horseshoes.
So, yeah, I've already planned my 7th, but I'm gonna wait until I go to my birthday in Nashville, and I'll probably get it then.
Yeah, but that's more than 6 months away. You're gonna get it before then.
I was gonna say, isn't your birthday next year?
It's like February or March or something. Yeah.
It's February 27th.
Nice.
That's nice. So, like, you're a big Lucky Charms fan, I'm guessing.
No, I'm really not. This was like not thought out.
The tattoos. Again, she didn't mean that at all, but she was showing us another. She was like, "I got another one," and I was like, "What are you just doing the Lucky Charms?" Because what was first, the heart or the star?
A heart was my second tattoo, so that's way before. But I've gotten like 5 in the last like couple months, and that's why
there was like a month-long period where every weekend she'd come in on Monday and be like, "I got one here." And then I got one here. And I'd be like, "What are you getting this weekend?"
Yeah, he used to tell me that. We'll see in the next couple of years how many. I want like 9 at least.
Only 2 away.
But I have to like plan them.
I used to have tattoos when I was younger.
Yeah.
But then I never got any. So.
I never wanted them, and for my whole life I was like, I'm never gonna get one. And then my brother looked at me one day and he's like, I know you're going to get one. Like, I know you're going to change your mind. And now I'm eating my words. So,
yeah, you get more piercing.
It makes you happy. So,
they do. I love my tattoos. I don't regret any of them. And I'm scared of getting so many that I'm going to regret one. But I don't think things through like that. Like, I feel like if I have an idea in my head, I'm like, I need it now. Like, I'm not a very patient person. It's something I'm working on, kind of. Because I'm like very impulsive sometimes, and it's not great. I mean, it's not like terribly impulsive, but it's like if someone right now was like, let's go get tattoos, like on our lunch break, I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, there's not a part of me that's like, no.
Nice.
So
Daniel Tosh has this line about tattoos, and he says people are always concerned. What's that tattoo going to look like when you're old? And he goes, the people who get these tattoos, they're not making the decisions that get you to live old to be old. So you're not gonna regret it.
You'll see me in 5 years and like we'll see. We'll reevaluate then. But my newest one was the star. And it has no meaning at all. I just thought like stars were
I'm
cool.
about to say, don't feel bad. I got a ton of friends who got tattoos on their shoulder, the bicep, on the tricep. Makes no sense. And I'm saying, like, why did you get it? They be like, oh, it just looked cool. And I'm not gonna lie, some of them do. Like a good friend of mine, he has a tribal band right here, and he wanted me to get one too. You know, like a tribal hood of brothers. And I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't have any tattoos. I don't. So they try to like pressure me to do it. And I'm like, nah, I don't know. I just don't have the. I don't know. I'm not eager to get one. I guess I'm just not.
The only warning is I feel like once you get one, you're gonna get another. Like it's just like I feel like I never thought that I was only gonna be one, and it's never one. Yeah, Mike has a big one.
Oh, it's not.
But that's because I have a rule. So so it's the comedy and tragedy masks.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
And that's partly because I was into drama in high school, but also because I'm bipolar, so it's symbolic.
Okay.
But I picked out that image and then waited a year, knowing that I wanted it. And once a year went by and I was like, I still want it. Then I got the tattoo, and then when I got this, I had 3 other ones picked out that I wanted to do. And by the time a year had gone by, I did not want them anymore. And I'm very glad I didn't get those other ones. I don't regret this one at all, but the other ones were ridiculous. But Nicole's right that you like when you get a tattoo, your very first thought is I want another one. But I had already built the system in my head, and I think the system has protected me. So my next and probably last tattoo will be when I'm done having children. Yeah, I'm going to get their birth dates or something on my chest. But I want it to match, so that's why I'm waiting for all my kids to be done.
Yeah, my family is like, Nicole, please, like, stop. Like, and then I'm like, okay, I'll stop, I promise. And then it'll be like, boop, already did something. So, but I mean, I've gotten like some in Chapel Hill, some in New York, and some in Charlotte. But I think getting one in Nashville would be fun. But again, I'm not trying to like run out of space or just regret it. Because I tried to think.
So you got plenty of space.
Okay. Yeah, talk to me in 10 years and we'll see
10 years are very big though.
How doodly I will.
It's when you get the big ones that you start running out of space. Like if I got too many of these, if I got 2 or 3 of these, I'd run out of space pretty quick.
I love the tiny ones, and that's why, like, even though I have 6, like, you really wouldn't be able to super tell unless you were like counting them or paying attention. But it's cool when like I've had people stop me and be like, "Where did you get your tattoo?" Like, you know what I mean? That's like a cool feeling, and it's also I feel like a good conversation starter. Like in general, I saw like a meme that was saying that it was like, tattoos are a great conversation starter, and that's why I hate that I got it. It's funny. But yeah, I don't think I'd get a big one, but I don't want to say that I won't because you'll replay this part in like this video and be like, you said you wouldn't, and then so I don't know. I now say never because everything I've said I'd never do, I did, and it just.
Hey, but you know what though? That's the main reason why I didn't get a tattoo because all my friends said the same thing. They was like, dude, as soon as you get one, man, you're gonna want to go back and get another one and another one and another one.
I don't know why they're so addicting. But the problem with mine is like I don't think about what I'll look like in the future or like what is going to be the vibe. Like I don't think things through, and I feel like I have a hard time of like picturing the future. So it's like to me, it's like this is now. Let's do it now, like YOLO. And then I'm like, fuck, like I'm gonna be. Wait, can you curse on here?
Oh yeah,
you probably can. I'm like, bleep it out. I'll have a little like.
I kind of think when it comes to, I mean, I'm going back to happiness for a second, but also the fact that we're talking about what you're going to look like in the future and not thinking ahead of time. I have a very hard time when I'm working on thinking about the future and balancing that with the sense of happiness. Because to me, happiness is a present in the moment feeling for a large part. Obviously, accomplishment you can kind of be happy with something that's happened in the past because you accomplished something. But in a large part, I think happiness kind of takes place in the present for me when I feel it. And so I am very much concentrate. It may not seem like it to you guys, but I concentrate so much on what the future is going to be, with planning ahead and like constantly doing stuff to try to like set myself up for success, and it becomes so it can be overwhelming and daunting, and I find that makes it hard to balance happiness of any kind in there.
Yeah, I think also happiness comes from like self-love and like radical acceptance. I think you can find a lot of happiness through that. And like I took a class at UNC that was the science of happiness, and it's probably the last thing I'm gonna say because I gotta jump off. But it was a super interesting class, like one of my favorite ones that I've ever taken. But it took an approach of like the science and the statistics behind like what actually makes you happy. And I don't remember like everything about the course, but it was basically talking about like how you should spend money on experiences rather than like physical things, how like being in nature makes you really happy, having a sense of self-worth and like autonomy makes you happy. There's like a bunch of like things that you like, small things you can implement in your life. And I don't know, like I can go back and look at my notes of like what she said, but it was like it was really impactful because it was like nice to take a class that like you can take things away from them and like or away from what you actually learned, and like it really changed your life, you know what I mean? So like even just like I don't know, like when we're in the office and we can like go outside and take like a couple loops outside, like that's really good for you. And being able to like have that time away from like things like that, or people that interact with like animals or like babies, like you know what I mean? It's just like kind of like where your brain kind of shuts off, and you're kind of forced to kind of go back to like something really simple.
Yeah.
And again, that to me it's like simplicity. Like when you're a child, again, like what's going to make you happy? Like being on the iPad and like ice cream before dinner, like and like small things like that. So in my life, I try to like do things that make me happy. So like I remember another big one was like the relationships you have in your life. So having really strong friendships, like you know what I mean, having that sense of like connection with people is huge, and making sure that you're happy. And like I feel super happy at work because of like the connections I have with you. Like you're not my coworkers, like you're my friends. And so it's like having that kind of dynamic helps a lot of feeling that in like inner happiness versus like external happiness that is like posting on social media, or like things that you kind of get bogged down on, that you focus on, that thinking that will actually bring you happiness, when in reality it's like having a fun conversation or laughing with your coworkers, or you know what I mean, like going camping, like things like that I think bring you the most happiness, or at least me, like the simple things of like being able to like spend time with the people you really love, I think is like the most important thing. That sounded like a very Hallmark, like Disney ending for me. Signing off.
All right.
But it's true. I feel like, yeah.
I like it.
Stop buying things, start living. I say as I literally bought so much crap. Like I'm a hypocrite. But yeah, I appreciate you, Michael, and this was fun being on your podcast. So
thank you.
Hopefully, this conversation will still be as awesome as it was when I was on it.
We'll manage, I think. But
okay.
You go get your cat insurance so that you can be happy and not worry about have to worry about, is it a boy cat or a girl cat?
It's a boy cat. It's a boy cat. It's a short hair domestic cat. I'm naming him Seven. Because in Spanish, yeah, there's like 7. No, I'm naming him Seven because in Spanish, like cats have 7 lives instead of 9. So
yeah, in real life,
fun
they have
fact.
1 life, regardless of what Spanish or English language they speak. Yeah.
You're right, Michael.
1 life. 1 life, no.
All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right.
They're going to heaven, Michael. This is not an argument.
Cats don't go to heaven.
Heaven's. I'm gonna be quiet. All right.
Cats get a dog.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Hey, but you know what? One good point she brought up. Back to like Mike when you said about experiences. So you saw how happy she got when she brought up the experience from that class she took at UNC. When I took that class, it was so great. It was so like once again that comes to experiences. Like she was saying, going outside, going to nature, and taking walks, and finding your inner self and all that stuff. That's from experiences, and when you have those experiences, that's when the emotions come out because you feel some type of way about that experience. So when she thought about it, she thought about that experience. She felt happy. Now, I'm not gonna put words in her mouth, but I guarantee she's not thinking about that class every single day. There's no way. Like, you know what I mean? Because like it was classes I took back in the day that I really, really do enjoy myself. It made me happy, but I'm not sitting here thinking about it because I got to stay happy 24/7. I'm not thinking about that class. So I'm glad she talked about it. That was a good example.
Mike, I have a question for you. Do you want to be happy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but so we'll just go to my mental health issues for a second to explain some of this. But I've been struggling with bipolar disorder and depression since I was like 13 or 14 years old. I was diagnosed at 18, but I had been depressed for 4 years already at that point. So like I largely don't know like who I am without it. I mean, I was basically as soon as I hit puberty, I was starting to deal with all these mental health issues, and so I'm not even entirely sure I understand what it would be like to be happy in any kind of meaningful way. I feel like a lot of times right now I feel content. I feel really proud of like my son, and I have moments of joy with him and Sarah, and I like really love the life that I have. But happiness to me kind of feels like almost like a nebulous thing that I'm not entirely even sure I understand beyond that. If that makes sense.
My dad told me depression isn't real.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of that. I got a lot of people.
Wait, who told you this?
My dad.
Oh.
And I was like, you know what? You're probably right. It's all in the mind.
Yeah. I've known people that have thought, that it's just a matter of attitude and stuff. And so I understand that for those people, and I'm jealous because I feel like the people who think that are probably genuinely happier in life, but I don't entirely understand what that worldview is like.
That's understandable.
Saba, I think you're just a happy person in general. You seem like a very happy person.
It's also just because I'm smiling randomly. Like one of my friends in middle school, like we won't be talking. We'll just be sitting there. I don't even realize. Just sitting there smiling, and she's like, "What are you smiling about?" And I'm like, "I really don't know."
Huh?
I feel like that makes some people happy though. Like drugs definitely contribute to happiness, and that's why people have addictions.
I feel like that's why people were so happy in like the 70s,
Well, that's because they were on some other drugs back then. That was like LSD and shrooms and all the psychedelics, which actually does kind of, Molly and LSD and shrooms, they release dopamine. So like they actually make you happy because dopamine is the literal chemical substance for happiness.
Yeah, you're right. And also too with the because I remember studying this like with the endorphins too. I forgot which drug it was, but it was like it multiplies it like crazy. I forgot what it was. But
probably
when you remember, let us know.
Yeah, I gotta remember what it was because it was like I remember the class we took. It was this pharmacology class, and we was like just so like wow, it really does that. The professor was like, yeah, just it was like I remember exactly what he said. He was like, imagine I don't know if he took this back in the day. He was like, imagine doing LSD, cocaine, popping the Xanax, smoking weed, and what else he say? It's something else. It probably was. He said, imagine doing all that at once. He was like, and it's times 10. We was like, what? And like, of course, some people was like, where can we find this? And he was like, he was like, you can, but like, you got to find like a chemist to get them.
Well,
is it like Quaaludes or something?
No, not Quaaludes. God, what is it? What is it? I'm thinking about it right now.
I'm just trying to think about the drugs that are really hard to come by now, which I think of Quaaludes when I think of that.
Was it Quaaludes?
Isn't that like for animals or something? It sounds like what you're describing sounds like a tranquilizer.
Do you ever see Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah. They describe, so in Wolf of Wall Street, Quaaludes they were made for housewives to like give them like a short nap, like for an hour. But they found that if you pushed through and didn't let yourself fall asleep on them, you got this crazy high, and like not like a regular like just like pot high, but it was like.
Matter of fact, I think
you're fucked up.
I think that's what it is. I think what it is, Quaalude. That you might be right, Mike. I think what it is, but like everybody was just mind blown how strong this stuff was. He was like literally on the board, drawing like the chemical like makeup of it. And like he had it down to a T. So we're like thinking like, man, this guy was probably doing this shit back in the day like crazy. But like he was just like so. And once again, go back to the happy. He was so happy talking about it. He's like, yeah, it does this to your brain. It does this, and man, you're in this, or you further road, and you're doing this. I mean, he was jumping everywhere. We was like, yeah, this guy was taking this stuff back then. Had to be. Because like he was too happy talking about it. So, but I think you're right though. It might be Quaaludes. I think you might be right. I think. Yeah.
I will say, I had a professor tell me the first time he did LSD, and he was happy talking about it. I wasn't happy listening to it. I was very uncomfortable with the conversation. We were at a bus stop, and it was unprompted, and he told me about the first time he did LSD. He's a brilliant professor, but he is batty, like he's bonkers, like out of like, I don't know how to describe him, but very strange. Very strange.
Actually, it's funny because going back to like LSD and shrooms, people like I know people like friends that are depressed or have been depressed and will microdose on shrooms, so take a very small dosage of magic mushrooms, and it'll make you happier. But the thing is, it won't deplete all of your dopamine and serotonin because it's not like you're overdosing on them. You're not taking a big amount. They'll literally take like such a small dose where you don't feel like, back in the 70s where they would feel this crazy like comic book feeling. You don't feel that. You just, I guess it's just another level of high, but it actually will help you get out of depression and relieve stress and literally make you happier in the long run.
And they're doing clinical studies with microdosing of mushrooms specifically with therapist oversight. So you go microdose during a therapy session, and for people with PTSD, they're seeing it's showing better results than nearly anything else they've tried. So you get veterans and stuff that are going and doing that, and I don't know enough about the chemical stuff to I understand the idea of endorphins and dopamine, but I do not understand how all of that affects long term as far as receptors and everything else. But they're seeing long term results off of these microdosing therapy sessions, and sometimes it's as few as like a couple from what I've.
You could take less than a gram of it, which is probably like one mushroom. And if you think about it, mushrooms are naturally growing fungus. They're not, a lab-grown chemical that some doctor or some pharmacist, whoever made. It's literally Earth's creation. It's not modified. It's not added, subtracted from anything. It is the full compound right there. So if you think about it, that's a lot safer, healthier than something that we don't even know the long-term effects of. Well, we probably do know the long-term effects because they've done studies on most drugs, but like it's not something that you can go outside and you can grow yourself, you can reproduce yourself. You can't do any of that with most of the drugs they have now for depression. But magic
there are some poisons you can grow yourself and stuff though. So just like it doesn't just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good necessarily. I agree with you on this instance, but I think I got to push back on just because it's grown in the ground doesn't make it good.
That's think about how many positive things that we have from growing, even other types of fungi. Lion's mane helps with memory and focus. All of these random fungi that people are like, ew, gross, like it's a fungus. They're so beneficial in so many aspects. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Saba. Especially I used to work in the pharmacy, like a big pharmacy department. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? It's a lot of compounds that pharmacists do that's supposed to treat certain stuff, and they all say the same thing. Like when they was taught in school, they was taught like, yes, every pill or whatever suppository, whatever you make, all of it's man-made. None of it's gonna be natural. So, and like Mike said, it's gonna play different roles in your receptors. It tricks a lot of things in your brain to do what it's supposed to do. I get it, but I remember a pharmacist told me, he was like, they really don't push natural regimens like that because they know that the natural way is like, well, not all of it, like Mike said. I can't just say all of it, but most of it is less harmful. And I have pharmacists tell me they have done countless studies on a lot of this natural stuff, but they're not really going to put it out there in the public because they're not really going to make any money off of it. It's all about money at the end of the day. I can go on and on about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, but like seriously, like these natural things of like, you know, what these fungi and all that, a lot of that stuff they're not going to push because they know they're not going to make a lot of money, unlike pushing Xanax and pushing Adderall and pushing, you know, Percocet. That man-made stuff, they know that those chemicals are doing some crazy stuff to you, and they know it tricks you to that addiction. And that's the best way to get rich off people. Get them addicted. They're gonna do everything in their power to get their hands on this medication. So, to both of you guys' point, you're both right. Like Saba, you're completely right. Mike, you're right too. Not everything natural is gonna be always good, but they know that going the natural way, there's really not a lot of money into it. So they're never gonna really push it. They're just not.
Did you guys know that cocaine used to be cough medicine or some type? It might.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Most drugs didn't start off as like recreational drugs. They started off either as medicine or some other kind of experiment. Like I think LSD was
Ultra.
Like them trying to. Yeah, wasn't that like them trying to make truth serum or something?
Yeah.
They used it like there was a movie about it, The Men Who Stare at Goats.
I saw the movie, but I don't remember it very well.
It's been a while since I've seen it. It had George Clooney. Yeah. But I think you're right. But it was like military affiliated. Actually, let me not say something that's wrong. But.
All right. Well, I know I promised you guys an hour or less, and so it's been 50 minutes. Do any of you have anything that you want to plug to my audience?
Can I say like one more thing about happiness?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So like based on like all the conversation, this is not a plug or anything, but like the conversation that we were having, like I guess I feel like a conclusion that I like feel like I've come to like in childhood, it's like you're happy because of like you're experiencing new things, but as an adult, like, and I feel like people have said this already, but as an adult, like you experience things and you find happiness in those experiences, and like as a child they're new, so yeah, I don't know, you just like you're happy living, and I don't know, and yeah, the rose colored glasses and whatnot, so that's
yeah, no, I agree.
But just to end it out, I'll say this: when it comes to happiness, just try to do things that make you happy. Like Alissa said, it's all about the experience. So whatever experience you do, hopefully it brings you happiness. Just don't chase it. Don't chase it. Do not chase it, because at the end of the day, it's gonna let you down. And then that's when the other emotions come in. Like you're gonna start being angry and mad, and feeling sad and all that. You're just setting yourself up for disaster. So don't chase it, but go for the experiences. That's gonna make you feel happy. And I think that if you do that, I think you have more of a peace of mind. That's my take.
I like that. What was it that you said your dad follow a peace of mind or try for a peace of mind? How was it you phrased it before?
Yeah, so my dad told me, he said, his exact quote, he said, don't chase happiness, chase for a peace of mind. So he said, meaning chase for a peace of mind, just whatever you do in life, just because you're going to have stresses. That life happens, things are going to happen. But if you chase a peace of mind, like when it comes to your job, your spouse, or whoever or whatever, when you go for that peace of mind, then like he said, life starts to make more sense. And then he'll say that. Then also he told me that once you get to that point, you're not going to chase happiness. Like whatever you like to do or experiences, that's going to just naturally make you happy, and you're not going to be chasing it because you're at a peace of mind. You're not constantly thinking about it. Like you're like, hey, I'm at peace. I don't need to be chasing this happiness for what? I'm at peace. So that's how he broke it down to me.
Nice, I like that. And it kind of makes me think of the same thing when I was saying with accomplishment and things like that. If you're working on these other things, it's going to set you up, and it's going to build. That's what you're going to be working on in your life, and I think those things kind of make up a peace of mind. So I think that's a good way of wrapping it all up. All right, so I will just say for the listeners, if you can like and comment, give us a review if you like the show. If you want to hear the uncensored version, or you want to hear this episode early, you can join us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/talking about the big stuff. And that's my big plug for the episode. So thank you all for coming on the show, and thank you listeners for listening.